Okay, so we're moving on to block 3. This is the car wash. And once again, I have already used iron-on vinyl for my lettering, but feel free to start out by taking the main car wash block and stitching your car wash words on, and also the little bubbles for the car wash. Go ahead and stitch them down into place. Oh, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing it, and I'm sorry that you had to watch that. You have to take the backings off of things before you stitch them down into place. So take the backings off of things first, and then adhere them on. My circles aren't perfect. That's okay if yours aren't either. I kind of just want my bubbles to be randomized, not all in a row or anything like that. Just move them around wherever we want. Okay, and then press them into place. Okay, and now we're going to do something that if you've made the other blocks 1 and blocks 2, you might be familiar with, but we're going to place the iron-on portion of the car wash. We're going to peel this back off for the bay, the adhesive, and we're going to attach it to a piece of scrap fabric. I'm going to flip it over because I don't want to melt my iron-on vinyl on the front. This can be done in felt or in fabric. Okay. And then you're going to cut around it so it's double-sided. Once we've done that, we're going to stitch all the way around all the corners. Okay, so we can go do that now. Okay, so I'm sure you're getting used to this process here, but we've just attached the backing to the front, and now we need to grab another scratch piece of the felt because we need to make the miter curtains double-sided. So let's peel off our backing. Actually, that one needs to be ironed on a little bit more because it wasn't stuck down all the way. Okay, but peel the backing off and attach it. To the felt. Adhere it to the felt, I should say. So that's what we want to do. Okay. Once we've done that, we can cut off, the bottom here. And we're going to stitch. Okay, so I've just sewn the mitered corners, the curtains, sorry. And now what we're going to do is cut around this so each curtain is double-sided. And then we're going to cut all the little vertical strips to make their little fun car wash curtains. So just be careful not to cut through your line of stitching. So just cut up to it. like that's the most fun part. And then you can separate these, so they're extra fun. You can separate them a little bit. I know they were adhered together, so if you have, you know, the adhesive, it might not want to separate. It's okay. Okay. And then do the same thing for the other curtain. Okay. Now we have 2 curtains. Now what we're gonna do is fold one of the curtains in half vertically, and we're gonna snip 1/2 inch into the fold from the top on both curtains. Okay, and then we're gonna fold the top edge over in different directions like so by 1/4 inch. We're gonna press. So they're going different directions. Okay. Do that for both curtains. And then we're gonna fold our bay in half lengthwise. So like this. Find the center, and then we can mark each one with a pin. And then we're going to align the snip in the top of one of the curtains . With the center point, and we're gonna pin each opposite piece of the curtain in place. So one side is gonna get pinned that way, the other side is gonna get pinned this way. It's gonna help with that 3D effect that we want. And we can do that for the other side as well. So one curtain one way, the other curtain the other way. Centered on the pin. Okay. And then we're gonna stitch in place on both sides of the curtain. So there's going to be 4 sets of stitches. That's going to keep these guys up. We can move over to my machine and I'll show you. We're stitching the miter curtains here. So I've got this pinned down. Just going to pull out the pin before I start. And just make sure you backstitch on either side here of the center marking pin. And then go to the other side here. Do the same thing. So now they should be all kinds of puffy. Now let's repeat this process here. Okay, and flip it over. Okay. Next we're going to cut a little piece of hook and loop tape, and we're going to attach it to the underside of the car wash, the side with the words for the bay here. You want the scratchy side to be on this underside here. So just attach it, and this should be sew on hook and loop tape. Make sure you backstitch, it's important. Okay, so let's grab our block. We're gonna place the bay onto the right side of the block. We're gonna match the short edge of the bay, the side without the hook and loop tape. So if you need your pattern piece, grab that. We're gonna match that up here. And we're gonna stitch this down onto the main fabric to secure it in place. Let's do that now. Okay, so we've stitched that down. Now the final part is up to you. Stand your car wash up, car wash bay. And we're going to be placing the hook and loop tape, the final piece of hook and loop tape, down onto the block, wherever we want it to go, however we want it to stand up. So you can take a little car, if you have one, and feed it through just to make sure it's gonna work for the car size that your child has. And then line everything up and pin it down and stitch it in a rectangle. Stitch down the final piece of hook and loop tape in a rectangle pattern. So when the car wash is rolled up, or when the car mat is rolled up, the car wash pieces go flat, and when the car mat is set up for playing, this will Velcro down in place, and they'll have an adorable little 3D car wash bay that they can send their cars through. So hopefully you love it. And that's completing block number 3. All right, we're going to work more now on block number 4. So this is the volcano block, and we've got a dinosaur and a volcano here. So be sure to grab all of your pieces. Okay, so if you have fusible webbing, you're gonna peel the backing off of all the dinosaur. You're gonna peel the backing off of the pieces except for the dinosaur and the main volcano. And the first thing we're gonna do is glue this layer, the first layer, down onto the volcano. Okay, and then we're gonna glue the next layer down. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is just stitch the lava into place, and you might need to peel back your paper so that it effectively goes through your needle on your machine. But you're going to stitch all around your lava and attach that on. All right, I've finished stitching my lava on, and now I need a piece of additional felt for this volcano. I actually don't have any more of this exact color, so I'm using a color that's similar, but that's okay. So we're going to iron the volcano to the spare fabric. And you're definitely going to need to keep pressing on this quite a bit because it's going to be so thick, especially at the lava part. Just to make sure it actually adheres down. And once you've done that, you're gonna cut it out from the extra backing piece. And now what we need to do is stitch around the sides of the lava, just the orange parts on my piece, and the top. Okay, so that we're gonna do that now. The next part is attaching the little dots to the back of the dinosaur. And I actually have iron-on vinyl that I'm going to be using. So you can do this, you know, with the felt or with the double-sided adhesive or with iron-on vinyl if you want to. And then you'll also need to have some eyes for the dinosaur. So I'm just placing my little dinosaur dots all over him randomly. I actually really like that, so I'm going to press it down just as I would double-sided adhesive to iron these dots on. You can do this with, you know, an iron-on vinyl machine too if you want, but I have my iron out and fired up, so that's why I'm using it. And it's such small pieces of vinyl that you really don't need much. Okay, we need to give this guy some eyeballs and a little mouth if you want to. So I totally forgot to cut eyes out for my guy first time. I'm just gonna make some quickly now. Every good dinosaur needs eyes. They're not perfectly the same. That's okay. Let's glue his eyes on. And actually, I can make his eye just a little bit better. And we can press that in place. And then we can hand stitch pupils and a mouth onto him if we would like him to have one. Okay, so I've done the embroidery in the face and stuff on my dinosaur. And now if you want your dinosaur to be movable and to be able to be Velcroed to different areas on the car mat that have Velcro, then grab your spare piece of fabric and stitch a tiny piece of hook and loop tape onto the back of it, just in a box. You can make the dinosaur double-sided, like I did, and hook and loop tape to the back so he can stick on different parts of the car mat. If you're making him double-sided, what you'll want to do is just grab this bare piece of fabric or felt and iron him down onto that. Stitch a little hook and loop tape piece on the back of him, and you're good to go. Once you've done that, we can move on to the exploding lava and we can go from there. So if you have not yet cut out your exploding lava piece, you'll want to do that with your fabric right now. Okay, so we've just finished making our dinosaur and we've got our volcano. Now, this is the fabric I'm using for lava. I know it's got geometric shapes and stuff on it, but it's the only thing I had that was kind of slinky in my stash, and I didn't want to buy fabric. So I'm going to use this. I think it'll kind of add a fun little whimsical touch to the volcano. But what you can do is if you have a serger or an overlocker, you can overlock or serge the ends of the four ends of this fabric, or you can turn each side over by 1/4 inch. Do a 1/4 inch hem for either side. So you would just fold this over again to encase the raw edges. And then you can clip or pin this in place so that it doesn't open up. And then we're gonna stitch all 4 sides once we've done this all the way around. All right, so here we are, we're working on our lava square. I'm just stitching all around the raw edges. So once you have folded everything, you can start stitching the hem all the way around. This is just so that it doesn't unravel. All right, so we've just stitched up our volcano and we've got our block here. Grab all of your pieces because now we're in the final stretch here. So we've got the volcano, the dinosaur. My dinosaur's opposite of the dinosaur on the block, and that's okay. So line up the volcano where you think you want it to go. Line up your little dinosaur. He can hang off a little bit on the block. Okay, and now place the volcano, like we did, at approximately 1 inch above the center bottom edge of the volcano. We need to stitch the exploding lava into place. So take one corner of your lava. So if you want your volcano here, then we want to stick the block of lava down about here, and we need to pin this in place because the lava is going to explode out of here. Okay, so what we need to do is stitch in a triangular shape this corner down. Okay, so we go back over to the machine and do that. All right, let's stitch a triangle here to get the exploding lava attached to the block itself. So I'm just gonna make sure I backstitch, because we want this to stay nice and secure. Okay, and then I'm gonna leave my needle inserted and I'm gonna pivot my needle. I'm just gonna stitch this corner, and then when I get to the point of the triangle here, I'm going to leave my needle inserted and stitch down until I get to the next point and backstitch. And now it should be nicely attached in a triangle. Okay, so we've got this stitched down. Now we need to take our volcano again, line it up where we want it to go, and just be extra cautious here that we don't stitch, because we're gonna stitch the volcano down, but we don't wanna stitch the exploding lava down. So just kind of like twist this up, and you can pin it in place so that it doesn't get caught up while you're stitching the volcano, the rest of the volcano at least. And then you're going to pin your volcano down. So it should be covering what you just sewed. And now what we're gonna do is stitch from the brown part of the volcano down and the base. So everything's gonna get stitched down, you know, from there down, and just make sure you don't get the lava caught up in it. Okay, we've just stitched this down. So you just wanna double check to make sure you didn't stitch your lava to a place where it got stuck. So you should be able to tuck the lava back into the little pouch we just made so that it can explode. It's kind of hard to do right now because this isn't attached, but it should be able to tuck in there. And then you can stick your other piece of, if you did the Velcro dinosaur, make sure you stick your Velcro wherever you want it to go, or, you know, just stick your dinosaur down, you know, wherever you want him. You can stick another piece of Velcro, or hook and loop tape, I should say, on the mat wherever you think you'll be putting your dinosaur. Okay? And you're done with block 4, the volcano. Great job.